If you know me, you know that I'm all about healing, healthy relationships, and productive lives. And in this video, I'm going to teach you some of the things that you cannot do to a person that you claim to love. And if you find yourself doing these things, yes, because I came to know that there are people who actually abuse the other person, emotional abuse specifically, without realizing it. So if you find yourself doing these things, then you have deep issues that you need to address. So let us learn. The first one is actually quite obvious, but I'll address it because it tends to be very common, and still in relationships where people claim to love each other, insulting the person. And I have been inbox insults, and I'm looking at the screenshots and wondering, oh, how did it get here? How can people who love each other, and sometimes it's actually people who have stayed with each other for long enough, they have children, they are sleeping on the same bed, they're doing so much together, and they actually claim to love each other, that this was just a difference that we had, but they are insulting each other, and some are really ugly and vulgar insults. Let me tell you, dear ones, by the time it gets to a place where you're insulting each other, it's a level of contempt that, surpasses, that actually clouds any love you may be claiming to have each other. In other words, if you are insulting a person, you should actually be reconsidering your relationship with the person and asking yourself, should they be here in the first place? Because let me tell you, some of the things that I see clearly, this is a person who doesn't see your worth anymore, who doesn't see your value anymore, and still you are still sharing the same bed and doing all these things with the person. And I think it is from there that we get to see these other things whereby people kill each other, people beat up each other, people harm each other in grave ways. And it all starts with devaluing the person through insults, or even a person that you are preparing to marry. Actually, this is what worries me the most. If you're insulting a person and you're only dating, what will happen when you get married to the person? So if you find that there are insults, especially in your dating relationship, my sincere advice is that you should call it quits, because it has already reached a point of no return. That is how I would put it. In a marriage, perhaps it can be salvaged. Perhaps there are things that both of you can try and work on, whatever it is that has pushed the level of contempt that far. But if you claim that you love a person, insults, it's one thing that you should not do, because it's so damaging. It damages the person. It makes them feel so worthless, and you wouldn't want to have a person who doesn't value themselves. This is the part that many people tend to forget, that when you devalue a person, once the person starts seeing themselves as valueless, as worthless, this will remain as your person. So you'll be the one with a valueless, worthless person. So you should never insult a person, no matter what how much they wrong you. You should not insult a person that you claim to love. Now, closely related to that, it's shaming. Shaming is quite common as well, and many people tend to think that it is less harmless. When you tell a person something that you should not tell them in the presence of other people, if anything, because sometimes it's not that you should tell them even when they're alone anyway. And shaming is also a very prevalent type of emotional abuse, and it is meant to make the other person, it is meant to make them, how do I put this? It is meant to make them deeply uncomfortable for being themselves. That is how I can put it. Deeply uncomfortable for being themselves. Because often the person is behaving the way they are doing because it's the only way they know how. Then you come and put them to shame. Or even you may be targeting a certain behavior, something the person is doing, but still that doesn't warrant shaming them. Because shaming, and especially when it is done in front of the children, in front of others on the social media, can be very damaging psychologically. And remember what you have said in the previous point, that when you're shaming the person, remember that this is the person you are going to live with. They will remain your person. So actually, unless you're planning to leave them, And again, still, even if you want to leave a person, where on earth would you want to leave a person when they feel so worthless, when they feel so embarrassed to be in their own skin? So shaming, if you claim that you love the person, correct them in love. Correct them where it won't be seen by other people. Correct them in a place where you can, you can actually negotiate on whatever it is. You can talk about it and hopefully come up with a solution, so that at the end of the day, you don't have to leave the person who is so shamed. And this is the part that many people overlook in marriage. And I'm going to repeat it. I've said it in the previous point, I think actually severally, that at the end of the day, this is the person you remain with. So if you shame them, if you insult them, you're going to remain with that version that you'll end up with. You'll end up with a person who cannot say anything to the children because of the shame that they endured because of you. You end up with a person that the children do actually dismiss. They will tell the children to do something and that you really need them to do anyway, but the children will not listen to them because you already shamed them. So shaming, insulting, it's a no if you claim to love a person. Number 3, manipulating the person. And I know that, again, this is something that so many people overlook. Just manipulating. I mean, I wanted to achieve a certain goal. And I know there is a place of wisdom in relationships. There are some things you may not tell your person because you care about how they may feel. And you know that you don't have an ulterior motive. It is not that you have some selfishness you're pursuing or anything. But manipulating a person whereby you are actually giving them false information, for instance, because there is a selfish goal that you intend to achieve, or you want them to be in a certain manner so that you can use them for your own selfish interests. It's a no if you claim that you love a person. In fact, let me tell you, even whatever I was calling wisdom, or whatever people call wisdom, it should be very minimal, if not absent, actually. So that, and by the way, again, if you find yourself having to to hide some information from your person, or to tell them a certain version of information and not another, perhaps there are certain issues you two need to sit and talk about, because it starts with those low levels and then it escalates to greater levels. So you're supposed to ask yourself, is what I'm doing malicious in a way? Because manipulation is highly malicious. And in fact, it is highly prevalent in narcissistic relationships, because narcissistic people are very egoistic. They are very proud. They feel special and everything. So every single thing they do is all about them. So even when they are telling their person this or the other, it is meant to benefit them in one way or another. And so what am I saying? Because again, one of the things that we are trying to talk against and hoping we can eliminate in people who want to really spend life with each other is narcissism, or narcissistic traits, or narcissistic behaviors. No manipulating the person you claim to love, and especially when you are dating. Because you cannot say that I was doing this because of the children. You cannot say I was doing this because I couldn't, imagine losing the person after all this is blah, blah, blah. You are dating a person, you are supposed to maintain a very high level of openness. You are supposed to, bring yourself out so that they can know whether they want to take this or leave it. You're bringing the whole of yourself on the table so that they can know whether to choose or not. Now, before we continue, here I bring my sincere request to you. If you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly do, people. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I know this is doable. So kindly, if you're there and you're yet to do it, it won't even take you 1 second. Just check hapo chini and check and make sure you subscribe, and I truly appreciate it. Be blessed. Number 4, you should not conspire with third parties against the person that you love. Some of the things that I hear are deeply disturbing. Like when a man conspires with his family against the wife, or the wife conspires with her family against the husband. And this is a person that you have spent life with. This is a person that you claim that you love. Because actually some will say, I can't leave them, I can't leave her, I can't leave him because I love him. But then you're conspiring with other people against the person. And because if you view your partner, if you view your spouse as one, as part of you, then there is no way you can detach yourself from them and conspire against them with an outside party. And this is something that I've seen happen so much. You know, a wife conspires with her family to finish off the man financially, to take away property that maybe, you know, it's written in the name of the man, which is okay. There are some marriages where the agreement is that your property are written under your name, my property are written under my name, which is okay. We are not faulting it as long as they have agreed. But then you find that most women, because of greed, they will bring their family to take away stuff from the man, or to finish off the man so that they can be left with whatever it is that they have. And the same also happens. You find a man conspiring with his family to hide things from the wife, things that the wife will actually discover and be, you know, be really affected psychologically. So a person that you claim to love, you cannot join hearts with another party to destroy them. You'll actually protect them from other parties, and that is what constitutes a healthy relationship. And the same also happens in dating. If you are dating a person and you claim that you love them, and actually you want to form a family with them in the future, there is no way you can join hearts with other people to bring them down. If you do that, then you cannot. I would actually sincerely advise you not to proceed with the relationship, because it makes no sense. It makes no sense. You have already broken the covenant, if I may put it that way. By the time you are getting to a point where you want to bring a person down with another party, you have already broken the covenant of you two proceeding to become one, because that is basically what you are doing if you are looking at getting married to each other. So conspiring against your lover, against your partner, your spouse, with third parties, it is a no if you claim that you love a person. Lastly, you cannot hinder a person you love from pursuing their purpose. The reason why they were created, their why for being here on earth. You know, that is so personal that if you love a person, you would let them be. And I know it is so sad. It is so sad, but there are so many women who cannot pursue their purpose because they got married. Like, marriage becomes a hindrance for you to pursue what God created you for. It is such a sad story that should not be happening. If you love a person, you deeply care about them living the original version of themselves. And the original version of themselves is how they were created to live. It is pursuing what they came here to pursue. And if you love a person, you should actually support them. You should actually study with them. Yeah, and that is the normal. I know someone is wondering, can that happen even? Yes, that is the normal. That if a person loves you, they should actually support you. And I'm actually very grateful to my own husband, because he supported me when I wanted to go back to school so that I could study and become a therapist. He continues to support me to date. He knows it is my purpose and I'm pursuing it and I love it. And he supports me 100% on it. And that is what should happen. If you love a person, you cannot try to sabotage them from pursuing their purpose. And unfortunately, that is what is happening. You should look for ways of supporting them. You should be their number one cheerleader. Even if you don't have to do it in public. By the way, my husband doesn't do things in public. You may never see him actually. You may never see him either on my page or here, but he's fully supportive of me. And he won't do anything that will sabotage me. He gives me room to pursue my purpose. And that is what people who love each other are supposed to do. I know some can't bring themselves to do that, perhaps because it is inconveniencing them in one way or another. In such cases, the least a person can do is to let you do it in the way you understand. Sometimes it may not go so well with you, but if a person is not hindering you, he's just letting you be. He may not be fully supporting you or actively supporting you. He may not be giving you the finances you need, but they're giving you the space to pursue whatever it is. It is still okay. It is still okay. But the best thing is actually us actively supporting each other, because that is what true love means, if I may put it that way. Thank you so much for coming me to the end. Again, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I kindly request you to do it. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate those who have subscribed. Yay! Allow me to just appreciate you. You people, you are to Nguvu, and I really know that we are taking this somewhere. We are getting to 1,000 subscribers and more. We are growing this channel with you people, with the help of you people. So let us meet in the next video. Let us continue learning. I hope I have taught you something. We are learning and we are getting better each day. Bye bye. Before I go, if you would like to have online sessions with me, I do online sessions via video, via phone call, via chats. If you want to have a session with me, you have an issue, you have a question that you would want to ask me, here's my number, and I showed it even before in this video. So just WhatsApp me and let us talk, and let us keep healing, and let us keep living, keep pursuing healthy relationships, and let us keep living productively. Bye bye, much love.